Very welcome to this video. I am Narendra Verma and I am going to show you that how you can run your first Android application using Android Studio. Before going through any of the steps, I just would like to mention you what actually I installed already. So as part of the software and tools, I installed the JDK 7.0 Android SDK, then Android Studio. If you want to install all these tools, you just follow the steps from here. Like if you want to install the JDK 7, you go to the oracle.com, just have this executable file downloaded and execute in your local environment and just install the JDKs. And if you want to install the JDK Android SDK, I went here on developer.android.com and install this SDK separately. And about this Android Studio, first of all, what is this Android Studio? This Android Studio is an integrated development environment for the Android platform. That means in this IDE itself, you can actually develop your Android application. You can run your Android application on the virtual devices, or even connecting your actual mobile devices with your Android Studio itself. So this is all about the Android Studio. If you want to download and install it, you can just go here, developer.android.com, sdkindex.html. You will get download Android Studio button and download and install. Basically the steps that I told about this installing Android SDK, if you do not want to install it directly, when you are installing Android Studio, this itself shows okay whether you want to plug your old installed SDK with Android Studio or you want to install the fresh one. So either way you can go the approach, I mean whether you want to install it earlier or you want to install using the Android Studio. So once you have done all the installations completely, then I want to open this Android Studio in my local environment, right? So to open this Android Studio, just click on the icon where it might be on your startup menu or your desktop. You just click on this. So this is an actually launching the IDE where I can write the programs of Android application and execute it out. So see this one, this is the Android Studio. Let me close this extra pop-ups. Now you want to create a new application, and how basically you will go, you just go here, file, create the new project. So I'll give the name like first NV first application, right? And this is company domain and remain all this is the location. If you see this, this will show you what minimum SDK you want to provide. So I am giving the 14 API Android 4.0 as a minimum SDK. You can pretty much read this instruction, what is this about, and let me click on the next. This is by default as a blank activity. This is activity name, and let me click on the finish. So once I click on the finish, then this will build the scripts and is trying to actually create the Android application that we just launched out. So in a minute or in a couple of seconds, you will see the application is created. It's being processed currently. Once it is done, you will see here what application is created. Wow. So now we have application created inside it, and you will see this activity main.xml. This activity main.xml. Now you can see here the actual layout on the mobile is being shown as part of your main.xml. So this is still being processed. Once it is done, you are able to see this hello world here. So the very first activity is like you are seeing the hello world. Your application is displaying the hello world as a text on the application. Now the one thing that you need to do here is, if I click here and go to the ID, so this ID you have to provide the name. Like for this text, I want to give the name like hello world. If you give the hello world, this is attached, the ID is attached, and inside this Java program you will see the main activity here. So this is the main activity. What is all about this main activity we will see in the next video, but the main target of this video is just to create the first application and run on the AVD. Now you have created your application properly. The next step is like you have to create the AVD. What this AVD is? This AVD is Android virtual device where you want to run your application, and you can see actual running application on the emulator side, right? Before running any application, what you have to do, you have to just go to this tools, and there is an option where you can just see what is the Android AVD, and you can create the AVD. So let me try to run this application. So here we have this tools Android, and this is the Android AVD manager. Just click on it. So what I did in my SDK earlier, I have created this my AVD. If you want to create your own, just go to the create virtual device and create your own AVD, and this will be as a running platform for your application. Once it is done, click OK, and now you are ready to run your application. On the top you will see this is app and this is the run program. So if you just select your app and this app is selected, you just want to run this program. So let me click on this. Once I click on this, you will see one pop-up, and wait for it is being downloaded. So this is actually in progress, and it's trying to execute all the programs, and before running this application, what this Gradle does basically, it builds the application and deploys on it. Yeah, so now we have this choose device where you want to run your application. This is default selected Android virtual device, so I would like to use my AVD as a running platform for this application. So this you see here, and let me click OK. Once I click OK, this will open one pop-up. So this is actually the AVD. It's an emulator where you can see your application running properly, and whatever the application is here defined, this is actually installed inside the AVD as part of .apk file, and pretty much you can see how this runs. So this takes a few seconds to prepare. Once it is prepared, you are able to see how you can see your application on this screen. Yep. So it is just running emulator properly. Now just in mobile, I go here, click. So what it will do, it will just show you your application, Hello World application, once it is installed properly. So your application, if you will see here, your application being installed, and this is showing now. This is NV first application, Hello World. This is the same application that we installed here. When I run it from here, this is deployed into AVD, and I'm able to see this application. So this is what I wanted to show you in this first video, and we have pretty much covered all the steps, whatever I mentioned. So hopefully it will help you out to learn or to understand how you can run your first application using Android Studio. That's it. Thanks a lot for listening to this video.